Aha, I tricked you, didn't I? In yesterday's video, I said I wouldn't be putting out a video until the fighter pack was revealed, but I figured I'd throw out my last minute predictions and wish list. So we know Adam is going to be a part of fighter pack 3. In fact, I believe they even confirmed he's going to be the first character, although I don't remember that exactly, so take that with a grain of salt. But here are my wish list. These are the characters that if I could just pick characters with the information we currently have, who I would pick. So this is taking into account the current silhouettes, so I'm not allowed to pick a character like Vibe, even though Vibe would be the character I would pick if I could just add him to the game. However, he doesn't suit any of these silhouettes. My wish list with these silhouettes in mind is Constantine, Adam, and Batgirl. That would be my dream wish list, although I don't think this is going to end up happening. Batgirl seems very unrealistic. In a slightly more grounded version of reality, Mira would probably be my pick in that slot. Mira is probably much more likely than Batgirl because Batgirl was a DLC character in the first game and they probably don't want to make you play for a DLC character twice, but it's a wish list. That's why I'm just telling you the wish list. The wish list, once again, just in case you missed it, Constantine, Adam, Batgirl, or alternatively, Mira. Now let's go into predictions. So obviously Adam is one of my predictions. He's going to be in Fighter Pack 3. For the female character, there's actually a little bit to work with here. A lot of people say that it's going to be Enchantress because of the way that the head is shaped and she's kind of got this little crown thing going on the same way she did in the Suicide Squad movie. But for some reason, a lot of people forget this. She actually doesn't even wear that crown in the comic books. So they would have to be going for a design very similar to the Suicide Squad movie. But because the gear system does exist, I do think it's fairly likely that if they were going to do Enchantress, they would go for a very Suicide Squad-ish look so that they can have a customizable headpiece, which they wouldn't have access to because, and again, in the comics, she just doesn't wear one. So my personal prediction for that slot is, in fact, Enchantress. Some people have even gone so far as to predict Mira. I don't think Mira is a good prediction in this case because as awesome of a character as Mira is, these characters were decided a while back, and I don't think the attention she's going to get off of the Justice League movie is going to be enough to justify her slot. I think what's more likely is that Mira gets a ton of attention moving forward with future DCEU films, and people come to enjoy the character and probably ends up being a part of Injustice 3, whether it be DLC or on the main roster. There are, like I said, multiple other picks you could go with. Mira is one of them. Huntress is actually another. I posted these pictures on Twitter a while ago comparing some of Huntress's notable features to some of the notable features of the silhouette, and it's actually pretty close. In that final slot, that infamous final slot, let me go ahead and throw around some predictions that the community has been saying, and then I'll settle on my personal prediction. The big main culprit has been Rorschach. A lot of people want to see Rorschach, and I understand why. He's a very popular character. A lot of people point to this very old poll that Ed Boon did on Twitter, where he asked people, would they like to see Watchmen characters? They point to that and go, hey, look, he almost confirmed it all the way back then. But if you go into more detail and you look into interviews that he gave around that time, he actually specifically said that in this case, he was literally just trying to gauge the community reaction. And in that same conversation, he had said, well, sometimes when I do things like that, I'm just making a joke. Sometimes when I say things like that, I'm trying to tease people. Sometimes when I say things like that, it's a tease for future games or even the game we're currently working on, or I'm genuinely just trying to have a conversation with the community. And that time, that's all I was doing. And in my mind, that is a deconfirmation of Rorschach all the way back then. And that was well into May. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Rorschach is not the final DLC character. I'm also going to go ahead and say that Spawn is not the final DLC character. The reason I say that is because Spawn, despite of course being a very popular character and being the primary prediction from the community, I don't think the final character will be a guest character. The reason I don't think he's going to end up being a guest character is because in the past when Ed Boon had talked about guest characters, this was before Raiden was released, Ed Boon was quoted as saying that people actually like guest characters quite a lot and that there would be one more guest character on his way. He didn't say there would be some more guest characters. He didn't say there would be a couple more guest characters. He said there would be another guest character on his way. And that was in reference to, of course, Raiden, who is already in the game. And since then, they haven't said anything about guest characters. In fact, quite the opposite. He's gone so far as to shut down the idea of characters like Katana being in the game. And for this reason, I don't think Spawn is going to be that final character, but it wouldn't shock me either. I think Spawn is significantly more likely than Rorschach, but I'm not holding my breath for either. Another idea that has been floating around the community, and I'm not sure exactly why anyone would ever think this is going to be possible, but Black Panther has been a legitimate consideration among some portions of the community. This idea actually, I believe, got started by a fellow YouTuber, and I couldn't disagree more. Marvel and DC have no obligation to work together underneath any circumstance whatsoever. In fact, just recently, we've seen some studio finagling. For example, Justice League happens to be coming out on November 14th. What day does Punisher happen to be announced for? Oh, November 14th? Damn, who would have guessed? This is another classic example of these companies, granted in a very small way, but trying to directly push competition in their direction. Releasing Punisher on the same day is a pretty bold move, but it's a confident move. It's them saying, hey, I'm more confident that people are going to come watch our show rather than go see you in theaters. Which, like I said, is a very bold statement, but it's certainly not the cooperative world that would be required for Black Panther to show up in Injustice 2. Granted, these are like very different departments, people who create the movies and people who create the games, but it all comes from a collective ideology. That's not to say that's a toxic ideology. Competition is a good thing because it creates a better product at the end of the day. Although in this case, with things like movies releasing on the exact same day as each other, or at least TV shows and movies releasing on the exact same day as each other in order to directly compete with each other, I think that's just a tiny little bit toxic. Other than that, generally competition is quite a healthy thing because it creates for a better product for us in the end. That was a strange point to bring up in a Fighter Pack 3 video, but regardless, the character I'm actually predicting to be in this slot is Constantine. Constantine, of course, meets the criteria of all these other characters, being an incredibly popular character, however, actually being a DC character, which is something I normally wouldn't put a ton of value in, although keeping in mind all the statements previously said by NetherRealm, I think Constantine is a fairly good pick. One of the biggest chinks in my armor, though, is that Ed Boon did say that the final character would be like something they had never done before. Now, in reference to that, that could mean a whole plethora of things. That could mean, oh, he's some crazy DLC guest character like Spawn, or some crazy DLC character like Black Panther. It could also mean that his moveset is super unique and something that they've never tried to do before. It could also mean that he's going to be a free DLC character. Obviously, I'm not expecting that, but that specific statement can be taken so many different ways that I don't think it necessarily means that it's going to be a Watchmen character or a Marvel character or a character like Spawn. Those are my thoughts on Fighter Pack 3. Are you excited about the Fighter Pack 3 reveal that's going to be happening later on today? Who am I kidding? Of course you are. I'm very excited about it myself. Who is going to be that final mystery DLC character? And let's not forget the female as well. A lot of people are convinced it's going to be Enchantress, but it's actually still up in the air. We have no idea who that's going to be. I mean, obviously we can make our best guess that it's going to be Enchantress, but she's still a question mark. We don't know it's going to be Enchantress the same way that we know it's going to be Adam. It's going to be a crazy day in the world of Injustice. Like I said, my dream world consists of Mira, Constantine, and Adam. Still no Vibe. Maybe one day we'll get Vibe. My actual dream picks, if I could pick the entirety of Fighter Pack 3, I would go with probably like Beast Boy, Constantine, and Vibe would be my three actual, like if I had no rules whatsoever for Fighter Pack 3, they would probably be my three characters. Oh my god, I want to play Vibe so bad. I'm so sad that Vibe didn't show up, man. I've said it on a couple different occasions now. I'll say it one more time. PC players, you guys out there who are capable of doing mods, get me a Vibe character so I can play them, please. Oh my god, I want to play Vibe so bad. I don't care if it's a really poorly done mod. I don't care if I have to play Black Canary as a template. Just let me have Vibe in the game, man. Take quotes from the TV show and make him play those in his intro dialogues. Do whatever you gotta do. Just make it happen. I want to play Vibe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will see you later on today when that Fighter Pack 3 trailer drops. So stay subscribed, or if you already are subscribed, come follow me on Twitter, where I'm sure I'll be talking about it as soon as it happens while I'm editing and rendering my video and all that good stuff. Regardless, today is going to be a massive Injustice 2 day. My name has been Bilbzy, and I will see you then.